Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CCL 2021. We're here for the second matchup of the day as TU Esports takes on the NC Bulldogs in a battle out of the Southwest. My name is Morgan Dunn. I am joined by the wonderful Camber and Cam. That first match was a doozy.
That was a good one. If we can get something just half as good as that, I will be very happy, Morgan. Anytime there's a reverse sweep, you had players falling off the map, crazy 1v1 situations. You had pretty much everything in that first series, so hopefully we can get something similar here.
Yeah, and it is going to be a very good one, I think. These teams both have a lot that they are fighting for right now. As they're starting to approach the end of split number 2, you're looking at where they're kind of shaking out. Who is going to get that first round bye going into the qualifiers? Who is going to have to play everything? And these guys are right on that line. NC Bulldogs are in the 8 slot right there in the Southwest right now. They are right above having to play both games of the qualifiers. TU are still trying to get their way up and over. So this game has a whole lot on the line for both.
Yeah, that's what this one's all about. And I think my eyes are going to be on Tulsa. I mean, you look at their last 3 matches coming off 3 straight losses. Now all of a sudden, your final real opportunity to move up in the standings. So there's a lot riding on this one. For Navarro, you've had a little bit more of a steady close to the season. You're the ones trying to hold on to that spot. So really, it's going to be Tulsa. I feel like the underdogs in this match, trying to vouch for that better seeding, that first round bye come the playoffs. Because, I mean, we're 1 week away from it, Morgan. I'm so excited. You can smell the playoff intensity just around the corner. And we'll see if we can get a little precursor of that here tonight.
I know that TU were really feeling bad after last week, too, because they took UTD all the way to map number 5. It seemed like they were going to get the upset, which would go a long way for them, and it just didn't quite finish out. Then they got 3-0'd by Texas right afterwards. So there's a lot on those guys' minds. They are feeling it. They would really, really like to have a win to kind of reset that momentum. Map number 1 is going to be Checkmate. That's where we're jumping in first. TU has not played a Checkmate hardpoint quite yet. What are they going to have to be keeping in mind? Yeah,
I mean, this is your first time playing the map this late in the year. That definitely doesn't bode well, but at least for Navarro, they're 2-3 on the map overall, so it's not like this is necessarily their go-to map. It's one where P2, obviously the big focus, and then you really have to be paying attention to the rotations. It strings together from 3 to 4 to 5. You can get money hills out of those ones, not so much on 3. 4 and 5, really, where you have to be focused on the spawns. Want to be back generators near wood, so you can kind of string that into 5 from 4. But we'll see if maybe Tulsa just haven't played it because they haven't played it. Maybe they are good at the map and they've practiced it. I mean, league play, all that stuff, that starts to come into it. Everything that you've gained experience on throughout this year is going to come into play as we jump right into it here on Checkmate.
Right in on map number 1 here. Sadeo is going to be the man with the camp, and TU not doing too bad to kick things off, fighting here for P1. He got Royal on the opposite side today, holding the angle. How important are these early hills, or is it more about the spawns? Are you picking up your score right here on P1, or is it all about getting to P2?
To me, I like to be the person who plays for spawns and for the money hills, but if what Tulsa's doing here, where you're getting 15 seconds, nobody really contesting, now you see Navarro forced to kind of funnel on in to try to get this player off the contest. They're going to be able to do it, but you pay attention to the spawns. Yeah, I think that's the big thing for me. You see 8 and 7 there for White on the minimap. They haven't really moved forward because they're making sure that these spawns for P2 are in check. They are going to be Sabian, the last one here, trying to play contest for as long as he can. He's going to fall. Now it's going to be on Tulsa to try to push through to the second hard point.
In terms of guys to keep an eye on, Nira is definitely the hot hand for TU. He has picked up a couple of Player of the Weeks at our esports program. For NC Bulldogs, it's Relic. He has come through, has a great KD on the hardpoint, 1.95. He's up there near the top. He's going to be the guy trying to lead his way through with the kills. But actually, as you take a look at the early scoreboard, Nitras has the 4 kill streak. He is already hunting for some air support with the cruise missiles or the artillery strikes. They aren't the most impactful here on Checkmate because you have the roof covering a lot, but it can be a big difference, especially on the hills, focused a little bit more towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, and we're seeing how playing for spawns can definitely play into your favor right now. It's NC who have had this hold together for 30-plus seconds. They're trying to get this last 20 as Tulsa makes one last effort for the hill. I don't even know if that's a good idea at all. Maybe you start to set up for map control, try to play some of these cuts. As that final 10 seconds will go to the Bulldogs, so they make their way back into this game. We start to rotate, and Tadio is in a big spot up here, finding more kills with this Krig. It's a power position for sure. You're seeing the pressure that he's putting on the Bulldogs right now, and it's going to be them who have to try to break out of this unlimited fire from Tadio.
They're doing a great job right now finding the headshots, holding it down, and I think really making up for that mistake that you mentioned. TU went for a very late push on the P2 that always opens up the risk to losing spawns for your next hill, but luckily their AR holds strong, keeps everyone on NC forced back into their own spawns, and now it is going to go to the fight underneath the plane. Nira able to pick up that one onto Royal as Nitros goes down as well. TU regrouping, retake this lead, and you have to worry about the rotation back to P4. You talked about it in the earlier time. P3 is great. It is fine to get some points, but P4 and P5 is where you can really make your money, and it seems like NC Bulldogs realize that just based on where they're positioning right now, ready in a moment to push up towards the top side of the map and continue to earn these points for themselves.
There's just so many angles here on P3 where you can get shot from. It's so difficult to soak up a vast majority of time, but you're absolutely right. The rotation going to be key. You really want to have those wood generator spawns to string it into P5. Right now, Navarro going to be the first ones in initial time. How about the flank coming through from Nira on the backside? He's going to have an opportunity to pick up a couple kills. Off screen, he's finding one. So that could be big, and we'll try to pay attention to these spawns, but it's Navarro there, number 5, spawning up in the right spot. Although you're losing some of this time, still have the spawns for the next hill, just have to make another break.
Look at the scoreboards again. Is TU very close to even across the board? NC, they are feast and famine with 2 of their members. Sabian has not gotten started quite yet. 3-12, just can't get any momentum. But Nitrous, 12-4, leading the team with the 3 KD and just trying to drag them through. Is through 70 points. We are basically dead even between these 2 squads. Neither one going to be able to give it up. And there's 3 quick kills for the Bulldogs that are going to give them the rest of this trash time. For TU, they just lost spawns. They're going to be coming in from the opposite side of the map and now trying to fight their way back in. That is the worst thing you can happen at this point, and Nira has to make a big play from right here in the back watchtower.
Yeah, we're talking about the rotations. These guys aren't focused on it too much. Talk about how for Tulsa, this is the first time playing checkmate. Right now, they're just fighting for the time on these hills, continuing to trade blows, like you say. Hasn't been much of a lead for either team. Now the Bulldogs starting to extend themselves. Static going to find 2 huge ones, but you see the close spawns here for the team in white. They're going to be the ones closer to the hill, able to get back onto it as Nira tries to find an opening for his team. It shouldn't be there for too long because the Bulldogs, like I say, close spawn, able to funnel back in. They're back on the time.
Static doing nice overwatch from on the plane wing to try and keep the Bulldogs pinned down, but Nitrous just in the power position around the corner. With the Diamante out, not going to be able to find it. It's actually Relic that gets that kill, and now Royal going to try and push forward and help him out. Bulldogs doing a very good job of just keeping TU pushed off of the hill. No matter what the Golden Hurricane do, no matter what angle they come from, they are just not getting close enough to contest, and this is a lot of points going over towards the Bulldogs. Now, though, the second rotation P1, it can be very powerful. You guarantee that you're the first one there, unlike the start of the game where it's basically an even fight. But in comes Royal, just forcing out with the double kill, looking for the third, and it's not going to quite find it onto Ray yet, but forces him out of the plane. That clears out P1, and the Bulldogs will continue a big streak of points.
Yeah, that's a huge transition from Royal there to open things up for his team. Now they're back onto P1. Relk on a 6 kill streak could be in a big spot to try to find a 7th. He is going to do that, so artillery should be there, and you see the kill feed continuing to be white. Everybody for the Bulldogs throwing in their 2 cents. They're starting to extend this lead past 70 points. Starting to get away from Tulsa here. There's 30 seconds left on P1. It's turning into a money hill right now for the Bulldogs. Finally, a contest starts to come through. They aren't going to have the favorable spawn, so they'll have to try to push through. But so far, so good. Really starting to extend a lead here, and if you're Tulsa, really starting to feel the pressure.
I mentioned how these 2 teams were basically tied up at 70 points. Since then, TU has gotten 11. The Bulldogs have gotten 84. That is a massive streak. Just something about the run they managed to put together, completely different from how they came out into this game. And if TU doesn't do something drastic right here on P2, really get a solid hill with a good 30, 40 seconds, it could run away from them very quickly. The Bulldogs are nearing that point that the winner's advantage might become too much to overcome, but right now, Static putting together a good life on the stairs, gets himself a 3-piece, and forces the Bulldogs back to the opposite side of the map.
Just head on a swivel, finding the kills as they come. He's on 3, make it 4. This is really huge for Tulsa as they get to this money hill. The setup's down. Nira finding 2 with his QBZ. The dual tandem here as Tulsa starts to make their way back into this game. Static's pushed up a little ways here, trying to hold down this cross. And I mean, this is exactly what Tulsa needed, right? To get back into this game. A big hill on P2. Really, with this 20 seconds, should be just about 10 seconds behind the Bulldogs. Huge stuff right now all of a sudden. We see how the momentum really plays into Call of Duty. One team can go on a string, then the other can answer back. And, I mean, we talked about Sabian at the start. When I'm looking at the score sheets, he's the guy that jumps out right now. 7-20. Probably needs to turn things around if the Bulldogs want to eke this one out.
Very big kill there by Royal onto Static. Saves his teammate's life and saves the cruise missile from going into TU's hands. That was a little bit off character for Static. He's not usually Tulsa's big slayer, but putting together a 7-kill streak and now having the artillery strike available, that is going to go a long way. Fresh off of his life, goes back down as Relic's artillery strike shows him how much can be done. Double kill underneath, and that is going to give the point right back over to the Bulldogs. What TU managed, though, on P2, they did what they had to, got a lot of points back within a single digits, and now they have the game fresh and opened up again. Bulldogs trying to get back into that big lead, but it is at least a bit of a closing here to start getting into the later points of the game.
Yeah, this is huge from the Bulldogs. After that P2 that was solid for Tulsa, they're going to take the opportunity to find the power positions and keep them in a stranglehold. That's what they've done here on this P3. It's really forced Tulsa off the hill. They still have this lead to hang on to as we make another rotation now over to P4. Got to be paying attention to the spawns. Really not even so much. With the way the slaying has been heavily in favor of the Bulldogs, it hasn't mattered so much what spawn they have because they're picking up the kills. Now Tulsa with an answer with 3 of their own. Get to P4. Spawn's kind of all over the place, but it's actually going to be the Bulldogs who have to make a long run, and Static is on top of it. Big map knowledge. Should have his team here in support.
One of the things I think TU is struggling with, they're having issues. Oh, but there we go! Out of nowhere, Ray actually gonna pick that one up. Just as I'm saying they're having issues, they say, why not a little bit of a highlight to throw in there? We are still in this game. It is only 5 points across, and they're fighting for the lead. Tadeo gonna be able to escape with the re-challenge. Relic picks it up. Relic with a great double kill on the backside, fighting into the spawns and getting control for P5. What I was gonna say is Tulsa has struggled to hold on to these sites. They have good breaks, but they just do not know the angles they need to keep up against the Bulldogs. They are able to get back into it, tie it up with the Bulldogs right there on P4, but as they get melted up in that pinch, they're going to lose that lead, go back down to around 10 to 20 points behind, and this is going to be a massive P5 that NC dominated the last time through.
Yeah, and Relic is a player, too, that I'm really paying attention to. The captain of this team for the Bulldogs was the one to make this rotation to get these spawns for this hill. You see how it's paying off for his team. They're already in the initial time. They're soaking things up. Everybody just has to hold these angles. Static going to find 2 huge ones to maybe start to push in. As he comes around on the backside, we'll see where the spawns come through. It's going to be a spawn out for Bulldogs. Big opportunity here for Tulsa. They look for some more kills. Tadio with 2 huge ones. Back and forth they go. The cut's going to be held down by Tadio as well. His team coming off spawn. They should be back onto the point, and Tulsa could be making their way back into the lead.
Trying to fight back, saving versus Tadeo underneath, trying to hold him off with the last 30 seconds here on P5. This is definitely still enough for Tulsa to make a big push here. It's gonna come down to the P1, P2, though, again. It is always very big points here from the very start of the game until the end. These hills can make or break you. Now with the 5-point lead and 10 seconds left on P5, it is the Bulldogs getting up top plane control, and they have the 3-man stack inside for TU to have to push through. No matter how much you get right now on P5, it's not going to be the difference maker in the game. You have to start getting some control here. Now, I would love to see someone go for spawns, but actually, it's just skipped it over. TU starting to spawn in the top right. They have to survive until P2, but they have the map control what they want it if they can only hold on.
Yeah, hopefully they can realize how important those spawns are going to be. Somebody has to stay back there to anchor them down as 2 kills go in favor of the Bulldogs. You're right. I mean, sure, you get that 20 or so seconds if you're Tulsa on P5, but it's really going to cost you because the Bulldogs able to set up on P1. They're really starting to string it together. Only 25 seconds needed as the funneling starts to happen. Players pushing into the plane, trying to clean these guys off. Scorpion's going to go down. Static with a huge 2-piece. He's up to 30 kills. And all of a sudden, it's not over just yet. The Bulldogs have a long way to go to get to the next hill. 1 player here to try to contest.
Where's Ray going, though? Keep control in the top right, and you will be golden, TU. As here they come through the last 10 seconds. It is going to be cleaned up by Tulsa. We are tied up at 2:30 as they try to close this one up. Static having the game of his life, 31 and 22, and they have been all massive kills. The last time he was here, he put down a 3-piece on the Bulldogs, and he's looking for it again. There's one. Tries to get the next one onto Royal. Finds it. Sabian all alone now inside the cargo crate as Ray tries to clean him up. Only 10 or 12 seconds remaining for TU to finish it off as a big 2 kills come through. That is 3 straight for the Golden Hurricane, and the sprint is on. But I don't think the Bulldogs are going to be fast enough. And TU not actually finish it off. The contest comes through. Relic tries to find it, but the Diamati is enough. Tulsa win map 1, 250 to 230.
Wow. And we talk about how Tulsa has not played the map before their first time, and they take the dub over Navarro in a huge time. I mean, we talk about the rotation so much. It really felt like it just came down to slaying, and it was really Static versus Relk, side versus side. We're seeing in the kill cam what Static was able to do. Low health, still putting down the shots. Absolutely massive. Like you said there, Morgan, the game of his career so far. Good enough to get his team the victory in map 1. Now all of a sudden, Tulsa with the momentum. We talk about it. They needed this win if they want to improve in the seedings to try to get that first round bye. First step under their belt.
It got ugly there through the middle. The Bulldogs had a massive lead of around 80 points through that second rotation, and it was just through better play on P4 and P5. They completely took over the game, but Tulsa able to stabilize off of P2 the second time around. Got nearly, I think, around 40 points to get all the way back in, almost tie it up, and like you said, play the game. The storyline thus far, it is Static. He has their lowest KD on the hard point. He is not usually the guy coming through and slaying out like that, but gets a 7 kill streak through the middle that lets TU rotate across to P2, gets them those points back, gets a lot of big kills at the end, including, I think, and we didn't really mention it at the time, but a firefight inside of the plane that was make or break. If he loses that, TU don't get back in time, and the Bulldogs just finish the game before we rotate across. So Static definitely gets MVP of map 1, but the Bulldogs have their own big players, and they're going to be trying to turn it around here on Express.
Yeah, and I think it's Relk, the team captain, who typically can be the in-game leader. He's calling the shots, and then we hate to have to call somebody out, but it had to be Sabian there in that first map. Double negative by a wide margin. Needs to step things up as the series moves forward. But I think as we move into Search and Destroy, again, it's going to be Relk, the guy making the play calls, not only making the plays themselves, but making the play calls, especially as we get to Express, a map where teams don't have a whole lot of experience on it. How much have you been studying up? How much have you been practicing it? And how much of that can you put into play as things actually get real now? It's real competition. I think Relk is going to have another big game here in map 2, but who can step up to try to show him some support as well?
So far, it is Tulsa 0 on Express SND since it's come in. Bulldogs have not played it at all yet. So, as you say, very inexperienced, at least in this competitive setting. I'm sure they have been grinding. They have been learning it. And a lot of these guys, I'm sure, have played it before. They were just on Express all the time back in Black Ops 2, but it's not the same game. There might be some small, intricate details that are going to completely change how you play it here inside of Cold War. What do you look at when you come into the Express SND? How do you like to play it?
Well, what you just said, for sure. There's different mantles you can do, different places you can go slide. The movement's all different. But I think what really makes Express so great and such a breath of fresh air from Garrison is the versatility it provides. Garrison's so one-dimensional. You have to go to one bomb site. But here on Express, if you want to play the kills, you want to be aggressive, show off your gunplay, go to B. You're going to have to meet each other face-to-face. If you're a team that likes to play more strategical, try to space things out, win it one by one, you can go over to A. A lot of different ways to play there. I just think that's what makes this map so great. It's so well spread out. You don't have to do one thing every time. It's really whichever team can take advantage of that versatility and kind of switch things up, keep the opponent guessing. I mean, in that last series, we talk about reverse sweep with North Texas there, came to Express. It went down to the final stages. You saw the submachine gun players making use of those little waiting room over by A in the side rooms. You can also go up in the top window room if you're an AR. Like, it has everything. It has submachine gun spots. It has assault rifle spots. I just think the key word, versatility, is what's so great about Express Search and Destroy. And so many different ways to play it. We'll see what these teams prefer to go with as we jump into things.
It reminds me a lot of Raid in that regard. The Raid Search and Destroy and the Raid Control both have come through as places where teams can kind of show off their creativity and decide how they want to take it towards their opponents. That's what I think a lot of the classic maps will have. That's just kind of the style of Black Ops 2 maps that you will see if any more come through. And it does provide a lot of freshness in the competitive scene. Like you said, Garrison, Checkmate, they are kind of, you go to one bomb site unless everything messes up, and then you go to the opposite one. Express is not going to be like that, and we are challenging the teams right now to find out those perfect things for yourself. So where do you like to play it? Right now, it seems like TU want to get, or actually the Bulldogs want to get aggressive and go towards A here in round 1.
Yeah, this is kind of the site you go to if you're trying to work a plant, trying to draw the round out. Is a couple players, you have to think assault rifle players watching over the top. Relk with first blood. Sabian's able to slide in. I think they're aware that he's on the bomb making this plant. Yeah, the nade comes through, but he's going to get it down. and barely gets away with his life. So now a 3v3 situation. We have to see how Tulsa makes this retake happen.
Static gets aggressive right now, trying to knock down Royal in the window, but no peek towards him. If that Semtex lands a little bit of damage, the kill might have come through, but it didn't get anything, and now holding right around the corner. 2 kills, though, for TU. Turns it around into a 3v1, and now it's Royal trying to clutch it up for his team. Has been spotted out, needs to re-challenge before he is finished off, but the pinch is in. Tadeo gets 2 kills here in the first round, and the Golden Hurricane go up 1-0 to kick things off.
And I really like the way Tulsa did that. They had those players watching over. They get the information that Sabian's going for the bomb plant. They decide not to take their time with it. Instead, they play it aggressively. They push up right away. Tadeo on the backside, pinching things. That was an aggressive move. You can see how it just didn't give Navarro an opportunity to kind of catch a breath and get their setup down. Way more frantic. They get in with the aggressive play. It works out for them. Tulsa grabs a big defense there in round 1.
That's the big risk over by A. It's one of those sites where the early plant is pretty easy. You can get it down consistently, but it pens you into a very enclosed position. It lets TU try and close in and pinch on you. And if you can't win those firefights at that point, you're going to get swarmed. You saw it right there. TU able to turn a 3v4 against them into a 3v1 for them. Now coming from the attacking side is actually going to be Nira covering the middle of the map, trying to find any info, any crosses as they go for that exact same plant play by A.
Everybody for Navarro sprinting right to B and now trying to spread out across the map as they realize nobody's home. Big stuff from Nero to back up and play the rotation there on Royal. 3 straight kills for Tulsa. A perfect round to start, and Nitros will fall as well. So really good stuff there from Tulsa. Both teams on offense staying away from B, rather going to A, spreading out the map a little bit, seeing how it pays out for Tulsa. These submachine gun players for Ray, really big stuff. Doesn't deserve to get that kill, it feels like, with only 1 health. But the shots are good onto Nitros. Really strong start from Tulsa. I mean, we talk about how there's inexperience on both sides, but Tulsa is the team that is 0-1 on the map. So you think, okay, maybe they've learned 1 or 2 extra things that Navarro doesn't know. And right now it seems to be that extra leg up is paying off for him.
I mean, the team they lost to was UTD COD Orange. They're a very good squad, specifically a very good search squad, so it's not like they were going down to the worst team in the top cut. TU has been playing some very good squads, so the loss is kind of its own thing, and I'm sure they learned a lot from it. Bulldogs now need to try and find a way to adjust, mid-map adjustments to get back into it. They go by A again, but their bomb carrier goes down. Sabian 0-3, and Tadeo around the backside finds one. A second could have sealed it, but instead it'll be the 2v2 now with the bomb picked back up. Bulldogs trying to keep this play going by A.
Still have plenty of time to work with as Royal's going to scoop the bomb. You got a player here for Tulsa waiting on the plant down there. That's Static, and then Nira on the back end with the QBZ. Finding the shots over the top. Going to leave everything up to Royal here. Has the bomb to work with, and still Static just hanging out in that corner. Might have to think about a rotation over to B instead. Going to keep strong at A. The player right behind him, and finally Static will turn his head to pick up the kill. Tulsa win 3 straight rounds. And you're absolutely right, Morgan. It feels like for Navarro, an adjustment has to be made soon.
Yeah, so the defensive side is a little bit harder to adjust because you do not know where TU is going to be attacking you towards. Last time, they went heavy towards B and then spread out. You might like to see a bit more of a presence by A to kick it off, but I'm already looking towards the next attacking round for NC. They have to, if not go towards B, at least attack A in a different manner, because twice now they have rushed over towards that side and it has not paid out. And specifically, TU is going to try and push things over by B. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Relic knocks down Ray. Tadeo trades back onto Royal, and Static and Tadeo clean it up. The site is now wide open as Nira is just looking for any information on the last 2 members. Finds Sabian, but ends up going down, leaving us in an even 2v2.
Nitro's going to find one as well, so all of a sudden the Bulldogs flipping this round on its head. 1 player left is Tadeo. He's pushing down. Nitros takes some shots, and oh my gosh, he's going to win that gunfight again with the low health. And, I mean, we talk about how Tulsa went to A to start the game. They go for the more aggressive push at B. It works out for them, but then you get a little over-aggressive. You kind of overextend on some of those players for Navarro. They're able to even the odds. Big stuff on the retake. The 2 submachine gun players there make it happen. We see in the kill cam how things started in this round. It was really an emphatic start. All-out bloodbath at the beginning, but how about the Bulldogs able to answer back? They get their first round on the board. Really needed it.
I hope they turn that into knowledge of where you are going to be favored on the map, because they actually sent less people over towards B that time against this TUB rush. It gives up the site initially, but the take back from the top side of the map towards the bottom from the bottom side of the map towards the top favored the Bulldogs. So it seems like they have had better luck towards B. They have been struggling over by A. I would like to see that get switched around, but they are heading A again. If they can prove me wrong, I will accept it. I will say that you guys can still hit by A, but if this one ends up going poorly, if Nira comes through, gets some big picks early on, it'll be a very bad look in a game starting to slip away for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it feels like an interesting setup. Lucky that this player is able to get into the top of the window room. Might have an opportunity to put some shots into Nira. The flank gonna come through from Sabian. I was interested in that setup because Sabian was the bomb carrier all by himself near A, but it's working out right now. 3 versus 2. Still not going to push forward just yet as he hopes that his teammates can provide some support. These 2 players left for Tulsa rotating back as they expect the push to A. Static getting back into his corner is just going to hang out here until somebody moves forward, and it's going to be the offense who have to make the first move despite having a life advantage. Now the play from Static to climb into the window, going to be good for 1 kill. He's traded out 1v2 as the bomb falls. Could be big information. Tadio trying to clutch up here for his team.
I don't know if Nitro spotted him or not, but he is starting to hunt now. Here comes the turn, the corner. So they are still running the opposite direction, just trying to find anybody. But the A site is wide open and seems like Royal is aware of that. Gonna clear it out and then try and get this plant down. Tadeo could catch a very good timing if he hurries, at least gets the kill on as soon as he leaves sight. If he spots him, does there, holds the trigger, but is not down in time. You are wide open on top of the train, and Bulldogs able to finish it off. All of a sudden, 2 straight, only 1 round behind TU, and this is a fresh map.
You're absolutely right. You really expose yourself when you climb up on top of that train, and almost, I mean, it feels like when you see the player who planted the bomb start to run away, those are the times you have to wonder if a ninja defuse comes into the back of your head.
You could see he thought about it.
And it might have worked out, who knows, but I mean, it was starting to scare me a little bit that the Bulldogs were separating so much as that player starts to plant. It didn't seem like a trade opportunity was there. They do get it done, really needed it as they win 2 straight rounds. They're back into this game. Tulsa have had success on offense. They go back to it.
Going back to a 3-1 split, 3 towards the top side on B. It is Sabian all alone to play the defense over here by A, or at least call out the information to his team to let them know what the situation is across. Relic gonna get up in the window, try and spray it as Sabian knocks down Ray. Captain of TU not ready for the man holding the close angle on the 74U, and he is gonna escape with his life, at least for the moment. That takes us to a 3v4. Bulldogs starting this rotation across, and the ARs have great oversight here onto A. The bomb gets picked back up by Tadeo, and it looks like TU are going to try and rotate back across now that they have lost control of the map.
Yeah, difficult because, I mean, you're in that low life situation. You want to try to find a pick to even the odds as you start to search around for it. Sabian's just hanging out, waiting for you with his sights up. He's able to find 2, leaves it all into Static. And pretty improbable odds here. Has to try to create a 1v4. Yeah. Not going to happen. Bulldogs answering back with 3 straight of their own, all of a sudden tied up here.
We're talking mid-map adjustments. They have been able to figure it out. Started down 0-3, now have won 3 straight, and we are tied through 6 rounds. That just puts the ball back in TU's court. Now you have to be the ones to adjust back. Whoever can continue to innovate on this new map, find out where their opponent is weakest, they're going to be the ones to come out on top, especially when from map 1 to map 2 now, these teams are seeming like they are completely evenly matched. Very close hardpoint, very close search. They both have just a great case to be made to be one of those first round bye teams in the qualifiers, and this is where you can make it here trying to pick up the win.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen Tulsa with more versatility. They've gone to both bomb sites on offense. It's been Navarro who are just sticking to this push at A. They are going to draw first blood, so that's a good first step. Tadio probably realizing nothing happening at B. He's going to have to start to make a rotation as the player is setting up at A. 1 player here, Nira, pushing through. That's going to be a big kill to draw things even. Sabian falls 3v3 now. Tadio pushing around on the backside with his rotation, finds Nitros, and that's looking good for Tulsa.
Royal on a 3-kill streak, going to try and keep that alive and try and clutch this one out for his team right now. Set up near A on top of the ladder, hoping anyone can push, but the timing just doesn't work out. Jumps directly on top of Nira, and we're left in a 2v1. Relic, with 15 seconds remaining, needs to find these kills, needs to hurry up to have a chance as Static is starting dropping this defuse. There goes the challenge, though. Great timing. Relic gets it. Nira answers, but there is no time left, and it's the worst feeling when you just run away and you know the bomb's going to blow up behind you. 4 straight now for the Bulldogs, and whenever Magic TU had to kick off this game, it is gone.
Yeah, they need to try to find it again. And I mean, Relk here in the final play. The team captain making every right decision here. The composure is so strong. Knowing that he just has to kill that player off the defuse, exactly what he does. And then Sabian, on the other hand, had a really tough first map. I was talking about how he needed to step things up. Has done exactly that. Had some big kills in the last round, up to 5-5, but holding his own. Really, it feels like the hole that is being filled right now for the Bulldogs, forcing them to this 4 straight round performance, and it's really looking huge right now. Sabian with a big game so far.
TU back over to the B site, trying to find something near. A lot of damage onto 2 members. Now finishes off the first kill onto Royal, and that's a 4-kill streak for him. But his teammates all just disappeared. Sabian gets 1, Nitros gets the double, and Nira is left all alone, trying to hunt for a clutch ace to keep his team in it. Relic gonna challenge, gonna knock him down, and that is 5, count them, 5 straight rounds for the Bulldogs.
Unbelievable stuff. It really feels like they flipped the switch, got more aggressive in this game. Tulsa haven't had much success going to B. They do it again. The submachine gun players for the Bulldogs are ready for it. They pick up all the kills, 5 straight rounds. Talk about Call of Duty and esports in general being momentum-based. I think you're really seeing that here as both teams, 3 straight from Tulsa, now 5 straight from the Bulldogs, trying to close it out and bring the series to 1 apiece.
Here we go, map point to try and win it all. It's going to be Nitros up the center to maybe get an early pick. There they are right in front. Gets the information on 2. There was a big rush over by B, and that is going to be the clear go sign over on the opposite side of the map. You still have to worry about Nira on Overwatch. The window has such good eyesight over that A point. As Tadeo's trying to spray out across, try and get one back onto Nitros. Not going to happen. And the 2 teams just positioning and waiting to see who ends up making this first move.
Really feels like this is the make or break round for both teams, with Navarro stringing them together and with Tulsa trying to answer back. Neither team wants to let this one slip. You know it right now because this game has slowed down the most it has since it started. Both teams really just not wanting to be the first one to fall. As Royal looking up there towards Nira, the timing's not going to work out, and you might be looking at a plant here soon from Sabian if nobody can find the opening. Nira's nade could be good for some information. First blood goes to Nitros, but the nade's going to be better for information. He's going to find the kill. Also finding another 1 player left now for Navarro, or we could be seeing more rounds.
That is a Kobe right there. Nade all the way back into the corner, and all of a sudden, it's a 2v1 that gets cleaned up. Tulsa, stay alive. Get back on. And for the Bulldogs, that starts to be a little bit worrying. How many times have we seen guys get all the way up to map point, but then you drop that first one, and you can never get the wheel spinning again? TU has already shown they can go on a 3-round streak. This is going to be a very big defensive round. They lose this, it gets tied back up with Tulsa leading in momentum. It's going to be a very interesting map around number 11, but they got to get there first as the Bulldogs come in on the defensive side. TU tries to attack down towards A.
You're absolutely right. I'd be nervous if I was the Bulldogs because he just won 5 straight rounds. Now that momentum is gone, it feels like Tulsa could be the ones with a big opportunity here. And defense hasn't necessarily been so strong for Navarro, but Relic with a huge first blood. Again, the captain making big plays. That's going to really relieve some pressure on his team now. They got the life advantage. Just sit back on defense. Let them make the first play. It's exactly what they're doing here, but Tulsa are going to do the same thing, kind of sitting back, trying to find a pick to even the odds.
They're actually going to start moving towards B, and I think Tadeo wants to follow. They need some information, though, before they commit towards either side. Continuing to creep through the station now. Nira unable to get a pixel, as smartly played right now by the Bulldogs. They are just sitting back on these angles. Don't give anything up, as Royal has been waiting here. Worst timing, though, to give up on it. Shows himself off. That is going to be information that TU has moved over towards B, but in the post plant, the 1 life difference doesn't mean quite as much, and this first kill is going to be massive, though. Nira goes down. Relic and Royal trying to push in and close this game out as their teammates rotate across, and TU just needs to survive for another 30 seconds. There goes Static on the first one. Around the corner, gets traded back by Relic. Tadeo, he's been doing a lot so far, but the pinch is just too strong, and the Bulldogs able to close it out in 10 rounds, and will be tying up this map count 1-1.
And it's a good decision for Tulsa to rotate back to the other bomb site, knowing that they didn't have anything going at A. But once you have a life disadvantage, it's so difficult to win those fights at B with such open space. You see how the trades come through, and then the pinch at the end here today. Really nothing he could do here. And for Tulsa, that's got to be tough. You win the first 3, and all of a sudden the Bulldogs come right back and win 5, and then the last round in a row. So that's huge stuff for the Bulldogs, getting themselves back in the series and finding some momentum again.
Now is when I start to wonder for TU if Express moves its way onto your ban list. If it's something you don't want to go against. Because 0-1 is one thing, it's whatever. But right there, that was a map it really felt like you should have had. You're up 3-0. It seemed like everything was going your way. To end up letting it slip out of your fingers, maybe it's more than just you don't want to be playing there. It is not your space. You just don't have the luck that you might have on other maps. And shout out to the Bulldogs being able to hold on and regain after a rocky start.
Yeah, and I think the player that mostly regained was Sabian there. Had a really tough double negative start in map 1, comes back in that game, picks up some huge kills in some of those rounds for the Bulldogs. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it has to feel like for Tulsa, that map was looking really good. And then all of a sudden, the Bulldogs, we talk about adjustments, they made a few of them in that game. Those were the ones that really decided things. And for Tulsa, that's got to be tough. Now you move towards checkmate. Bulldogs seem to have all the momentum in their favor now after a big win in map 2. But we'll go to checkmate control, another one where both teams haven't had a ton of success. I think you look at it for the Bulldogs, 6-4, a little bit better than 2-2 for Tulsa. More experience overall. I guess that's going to have to play into the Bulldogs' favor.
After such a close map 1 on checkmate in a respawn mode, both of these teams seem pretty even on it, pretty close to 50-50. I think it's going to go down to the wire. Going to hit all 5 rounds. It'll really be a test. This might be the map that decides it all, but at this point, it's not like one team is better on hardpoint, one team is better on search. These are all coming through as coin flips. At any moment, someone might take over, and I'm excited to see where it goes. For right now, though, we're going to head over to a quick break while the teams set up their next lobby. But you all can see we have another great matchup, just like the first game of the evening here on the Alpha stream. Stick around as we get ready to come back to map number 3. Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we load our way into map number 3. It is checkmate for the control as Tulsa try and kick things off from the attacking side. We were talking earlier how this one has all the ingredients to be an amazing map between these two sides, especially after how even map number 1 was. What are the strategies you're expecting these teams to throw out?
Well, I think we always know that defense is going to be the easier side, so whichever squad can try to pick up offense first is going to be huge. You got to usually try to capture A first, as right now the push coming through there. Nitro is doing a good job on defense, but I think this map overall, Morgan, is going to be so important. The swing mode in any series, but I really feel like this one is going to be a big decider, so whichever team can grab it, going to have a big leg hold in the series overall. Right now, good defense being played by the Bulldogs over here at A. They get up in the lives, starting to push forward as Nitro's continuing to grab some map control. Nothing really doing here right now for Tulsa.
I like the play so far out of TU, though. Once you have everyone get wiped out, don't just start running out from your spawns one after the next and continue giving up bad situations. Slow down, group up, let Nira do his thing, and it'll open up something. Good shots there by Relic to try and stay alive, contest for a few more seconds. Now Ray gonna have the close angle on the crates, gets another big shot down onto Royal, and gets an advanced position for TU to just start racking up this time. Finally get the first tab of control for themselves. Static gives up on the shot too early. He thought he had the kill, didn't quite do it, but Ray able to come back, clean it up, and it is not going to be too bad of a situation there for Tulsa.
Yeah, you see how if you just continue to push A, eventually the lives kind of outweigh the other team, and with Ray here holding down this choke point, it's going to be a big spot, and that is a huge win, as now his team can funnel back in on the point. Contest from Royal going to be huge. He's able to find 2, and just like that, it felt like Tulsa was going to be able to grab A. Royal with a big play on defense. That's going to slow things down. All of a sudden, this round might not be extended here if Tulsa can't get onto one of these points.
That's the problem on checkmate from the attacking side. Once you lose that momentum by A, it is very difficult to get it back. So it's one of those sites that kind of feels like you need to have it one and done. If you get a solid hold, take it all the way until the end. Luckily, at least so far for TU, they have not lost their control, but this is going to be the final push. They'll have time to contest. Someone needs to knock down Relic. It's not going to happen as the Bulldogs stand strong in a clean defensive round to kick things off.
Yeah, and it was really one after another. Big plays coming out of these players for the Bulldogs. Relic had a big stop over at A. Nitro's at the start had a big one. Royal had a big 2-piece. Like everybody making that big 2, maybe even 3-piece play to slow things down. That's what you really need over there at A. For Tulsa, it felt like you had moments where you could have grabbed it, like you say, but it's really all or nothing with that point. And for Static, 1-6, that's a bit of a tough start. You had Nero there making plays at A. Just weren't able to get it to extend the round, so that's big stuff for the Bulldogs. You're supposed to win your defenses, but you do it quicker than you needed than it would have been if it had extended the round. Huge stuff right now, and the Bulldogs in a big spot if they could win this offense to really make this out of reach right now for Tulsa.
And when you say that, it becomes extra true once you give up that first attacking round. TU needs to win this defense. You're supposed to win it. If you give it up and go down 0-2 versus the Bulldogs, it'll be a major uphill battle. And here comes the initial big push for NC over towards the A site. First kill down for Nitrous onto Static. Turnaround shot there by Relic as the two defenders get cleared out. And this is a beautiful hold to kick things off.
Huge hold, and for Relic again, the captain of the team, whether that was good communication or just map knowledge or a good read, he's able to pick that player up who was trying to pinch. Huge stuff. Is now the second tick almost through here for the Bulldogs. Not really a stack just yet. Ray trying to make the play from the other end. Sabian, another big kill there to steady things out. Now the second tick of progress comes through. You got Taddeo here trying to hawk for some of these players as they come off the spawn. Nitros is going to find them. Static falls. Sabian gets another. The kill's so heavily in favor of the Bulldogs right now. Tulsa really starting to slip here in this game as A gets captured. The round extended, and that was a quick one there for the Bulldogs.
5 life difference thus far as Royal even going to pick up one more. TU fighting out of a bit of a spawn trap right there, going the opposite direction as the Bulldogs just kept getting aggressive and pushing. Now they're going to try and cap up by B. The artillery strike in the hands of Sabian is going to mean a lot, and he is completely turned around from map number 1. Not only did he have a good map 2, now has a streak here on map number 3 and is sitting on that 2 KD. His teammates helping him out, knocking down TU members anytime they get close, and the first tab of B gets controlled underneath the plane. For Tulsa, you are not out of it quite yet. If you can force them off, it is still a defensive-sided map, but struggling to get their guns going for both Static and Taddeo. They have to find a switch sometime soon.
Oh, and it felt like there for a minute that the Bulldogs were playing a little bit too concise by the point. Relic's going to find 2 huge kills to find some breathing room, though. As Tulsa still with the map control. Ray really doing a good job with the finesse underneath the plane here, holding down this push. Live starting to stable out a little bit as we get to a slow part in the round where players looking for map control. Nira pushed up here by ASD, going to find one on the Nitros. The second there in Sabian won't be good as his teammate Ray still up into that tube is going to be such a difficult position if you're the Bulldogs, really a thorn in your side. As he continues to play some of those spawn kills, he does actually fall. Still a slow moment in this round as these teams fight for map control, but it really feels like Tulsa's starting to pull this one away as they are the ones maintaining the control at the top of the plane. Static in through the crate, gonna find another big kill. This one's starting to look good for Tulsa.
Yeah, Bulldogs, they need to turn something around, and now becomes the question, you're down 4 lives. Does Sabian use those kill streaks he earns? It is a close one. This could be a complete difference maker if they bring it home, but this late into the round, they might not be enough to turn it back in your favor. Static's plays here could be the difference makers, though. Gets the first one, now only 5 lives remaining. Continue to run around as he picks up the QBZ, but the turnaround shot isn't quite there, and it's still a 4 life differential. One team fight is all it takes to completely wipe things, reach it back around into Bulldogs' favor, as Nitros tries to find the first one. That's 2 quick kills. Nira gonna get knocked down 3 straight, and now it's only a 2 life differential. Bulldogs moving in, working on the second tab of control as they are fighting to claw their way up into that 2-0 lead. Ray needs to find a big kill here underneath the plane, gets the first one onto Relic, and then just traded right back. No respawns left for either team as Sabian and Royal trying to play out this 2v4. Nira gonna peek him on the top of the plane. There he goes down. Royal left in the 1v3. Turnaround won't be there, and Tulsa survive round number 2.
See there towards the end of the lives really start to come into play as they start to dwindle down. Whichever team in the plus is going to have a much easier time, and it's just so difficult on offense to get to B. You probably want to think about stacking the point, but it's really difficult to do because of all the angles onto the point for the defense. They can shoot you from so many different ways. And for the Bulldogs, they were trying to play that control of the plane and of the map in general, trying to push forward so that the players on the point had an easier time. But it's so much easier said than done. Tulsa, really, really good job there. Back against the wall. Needed to win that defense. They do it. But I do think the Bulldogs won their defense by more kills, so that could pay off if we get to around 5. Still a long way to go here. And again, it's going to be whichever team can pull out the offense who's going to have the big leg up. So we switch sides again. Tulsa back on offense. We'll see if they can get A. They didn't really have much success in the first round. Or did they switch things up and maybe go over to B? Whatever they want to do, we'll see what they've got in store for us here as we start things up.
If TU wins this map, how big will those 2 score streaks that Sabian didn't use last round be? It came down to a 4 life versus 2 life situation. Those score streaks easily could have turned it into the Bulldogs' favor, but decides to hold on to them. I'm going to be keeping a close eye into how impactful they end up being and where this game ends up going. Sabian now going to start setting up this defense by A. Tulsa have yet to have any success from the attacking side on this map, and they are definitely playing from behind, it feels like, overall. Bulldogs coming through as a solid control squad on checkmate. But one big turn could be the change, and Nira is still slaying out at 16 and 12, trying to keep his team in it.
Yeah, and it's predictable that the push is going to be to A. The Bulldogs really making a good read, slowing down that crossover from the yellow crate to the point. Sabian now at the front, finding Ray, and you mentioned the kill streaks. I do think it's a good idea to hold them to the end of the game. It really is a nice thing to fall back on if you have a long spawn and you can't get to the point in time. You got to clear them off, especially with that cruise missile. As Royal finding another under the plane, going to go down to the nade. After A doesn't work, Tulsa trying to switch things up and go to B, but the players are there for that as well, and the Bulldogs, they're finding more kills. They continue to go up in the life count, and this is when it starts to become interesting for round 5, as the Bulldogs heavily in favor here with the kills. If it does go there right now, it would be them on defense. Tulsa really need to start to answer back, not only on the points, but they got to get these kills back where they want it.
Needs to happen with this push right now on A, but Sabian gonna get the 2. Relic gonna help him out, actually, and those 3 kills could be enough to end it. Last man standing gonna be static, give his team just enough time to push forward on this final sprint. There's not enough time left for these guys to revive, and they're actually gonna be going for B. Who is that? It is Ray, the captain, making the call to go over towards the B site and try and win it from there. Actually just been trying to distract, see if they can push on both sides as Static sets himself underneath A. Both sides get cleared out, and the Bulldogs even more dominant on the second defensive round.
Yeah, you get to those late stages, you try to kind of have a split push to extend that clock as much as you can. A good try for Tulsa, it just doesn't work out. It really feels like for the Bulldogs, such a better job at managing the power positions. They've been in control of the top of the plane where those sight lines are so strong. You see Relk all game long up on that wing. He's the one holding things down at A, and then playing some of those spawn kills. So difficult it feels like for Tulsa to get anywhere on the map with all the pressure that the Bulldogs are putting on them. And now, closeout round for the Bulldogs. Sure, you have to do it on offense. If it does go to round 5, you should have the advantage right now. So not only sure you want to win this round, but also you want to keep the lives close. And if it does go to that round 5, you should have defense.
It would take a monumental collapse for the Bulldogs to not have the defensive side. They just won by like 12 lives in round 3. They won by near double digits in round 1 when it was a 2-life difference for TU. So I think it's safe to say if Tulsa survives this and we go to round number 5, it's going to be the Bulldogs from the defensive side. But you got to get there first before you even think about having to regain from that attacking side as TU and try and claw this game out. It was not an easy road through the last time they were on defense. They will need more big plays out of their members and try to not give up A as early this time. Again, it is the NC Bulldogs pushing over on that side. Already have one tab of control, moving towards a second. And this is what got the Golden Hurricane in so much trouble the first time through. Now Relic has 2 kill streaks as well to play with.
Yeah, 2 kill streaks are huge. It really feels like Relic is heated up as this match has gone on. The QBZs right now for the Bulldogs are too much to handle. Nitros is just going to call this streak in right away, knowing these players are off spawn. How difficult it can be, though, to cruise that missile right in through the windows. He's not going to find anything there. Why not just call in the artillery as well? But these players are sneaking by behind him. They're going to find the kills to get him off the point. More streaks coming through. Nitros finds 2 with the artillery that time. You see the lives so heavily in favor as A gets captured. All they need is B. And with all these streaks coming in, just get on the point. Nobody can get there to try to cut these players down. Second tick of progress coming through.
Some more coming in. We're not done quite yet. Sabian's got 2 to throw out as well. This is what happens when you get ran through on a round. Every member of the Bulldogs, I think, had both streaks available, and TU have just been hunkering. But they aren't done quite yet. They will get back onto the point. Nope, we're not done. Sabian has 1 left in. I think that's the last streak. I think it is. And will that all be enough to close it out as Nitros gets the double headshot and tries to finish this game here and now? Somehow TU has managed to stay in it, but this final push could be enough to end it. They are really holding on by the skin of their teeth as the Bulldogs have a little bit of fun with it right there through the middle section of that map. Tadeo over the top, going to try and find that kill onto Sabian, gets Relic instead, and he will take it. Why not just get the 2 for 1 as Tulsa try and fight things back? A 5-life difference, and this is starting to feel a little bit like deja vu when the Bulldogs had a big lead in the last time, and they let it start to close out. Tadeo will go down, but that lets one man slip behind. Nira and Ray get 2, and we are not done quite yet with the 3-life differential.
This is exactly what Tulsa should be doing too. Try to push up into the spawns to make this run even more difficult for the Bulldogs. And I mean, it's so difficult to play perfect when you have 1 tick left to defend. But so far, so good. 3-life differential. Nira, another big kill. Gun punch is good for 2. Third there is going to be traded out. Ray's going to find another. All of a sudden, this is back where you want it if you're Tulsa. Just got to stay near the point, and the kills keep to come through. Tadio up top, finding another 4v4 here as we head down the stretch. One tick of progress is all the Bulldogs need.
All of a sudden, we're playing Search and Destroy. Everyone on their final lives as the first kill going down is on the Bulldogs. Nitrous is gone. Royal is gone. Tadeo falls, but Static trades it back, and it's a 3v1 for Tulsa. Down to a 2v1. Sabian trying to clutch it up for his team. It's not gonna happen, and it doesn't matter how many streaks you have. Tulsa will not give up on defense.
That is insane stuff. Yeah, it felt like for the Bulldogs there, I don't know if they took a trip to the Apple store. Everybody had a laptop or an iPad to pull out to call in those streaks. It felt like it was going to be enough to close things out as they stacked the point. Nobody could get there for Tulsa. But wow, I mean, incredible stuff. You had to play perfect there. You're down by, what, 7 or 8 lives in the final stages. Only one tick of progress left, and you're able to hold strong and force a round 5. That might be all the momentum you need now, as although it's an offense you have to win, have to feel pretty strong riding into this one. Bulldogs ride of streaks as well. They used them all in that round.
He
This is the
definitely
big
used them all.
opening here for Tulsa, but it's a tough mountain to climb when you have offense.
How did they not close out that round? 2 now from the attacking side where it should have been done. And no matter which way this map ends up going, that has to be one of the best rounds of control of the CCL all year. Like, to be so far down with the comedy of a cruise missile after artillery strike coming in and still clutching it up in the final moments, that's something to hang your hat on, but a win would feel much better as CU tries to finish out this final round.
And this is the start you're looking for. A couple players already at A, getting a stack together. The first tick of progress flying on up. If you're the Bulldogs, got to start to pay attention there as this one really starting to fly. No one's really putting any focus on it. Finally, the challenge from Sabian's going to come through, but Static's ready for it. On the other side, Ray's watching this push as well. 2 huge kills right there for Tulsa. They're going to grab A to start this round, and all of a sudden, they're off and running.
This is completely new. Tulsa hasn't reached this point before. They haven't capped up. I don't think they'd even had 2 tabs of control on A until now. Look at the flanker on the backside for Ray. He is going to be able to find the first one onto Nitros, and now you got a Wasp in the car. Everyone's going to start freaking out, looking towards the backside, and that just opens up control for TU in the middle of the map. No one actually on B quite yet. They're on top of the wing, but it is right there, ready for the pickings. They have to get in there sooner rather than later, but TU in a completely different mood after that last close round.
And it felt like in those moments where the B was in the car that you had to get on the point and start to find some progress. Tulsa don't do that, and then the Bulldogs take advantage of that opportunity. No progress through. They're able to get that player out of the spawn. They push back up. This is a good position for the Bulldogs to be in. They're holding down the top of the plane. All of a sudden, Tulsa back to square one. I don't know. It feels like a big opportunity kind of missed there.
Yeah, but TU has a lot of time to play with now. This is where you can start thinking about winning on lives. If you can build them up, it's a 6-life differential. You don't necessarily have to complete the control if you can find these big kills. Static gets a lot of damage on both, but neither go down. And Sabian is able to turn it into a double kill that will loom large as this game goes on. Nero trades it back onto him. Sadeo looks to clear out the top side of the plane. He's getting a lot of help from his teammates pushing back. And with a minute approaching left in the round, it is still a lead for TU, and the Bulldogs are just trying to get back in when they had all of this momentum in their favor. The triple kill is going to go a long way.
Tulsa there, they find a couple kills, and then they get a little itchy to start to push forward. Big 2-piece for Sabian to draw things back a little bit. Continue to trade control at the top of the plane. Sabian now will be the one up top as some players start to get on to start to form some progress. He's going to start to make his move now. Shots into Tadio, no good. Could drop down onto the point to try to clear these players off, but his teammates have already done it, so now he's just going to hold on to the control at the top of the plane. Really big stuff from the Bulldogs. I mean, sure, you're low in lives, but you just have to play defense on the point and try to just at least stretch this round out. Relk pushing forward. 31 kills on the map, make it 32 on a bit of a streak. Finally going to fall. Sabian there in the kill feed as well. This is the Bulldogs coming back into this game, and Tulsa still have to work out of the spawn. The player to make something happen has to be Ray. He finds one. He's up in the plane. The second's going to be good onto Royal. That's the opening that Tulsa was looking for.
Yeah, but now they have to worry about time. Only 20 seconds remaining. Ray worked on that flank for so long, and he came out of it with 2 kills. Now, Relic looking for something, but going to go down. Nero needs to stay alive. He needs to find something big. 19.5 left on the clock, and the second tab of control is through. It's continuing to move forward. Tadeo, he is just praying. He is hoping this timer gets to the end. Around the corner, there comes Nitro. Gets one big one. Traded back. The 2 lives remaining, and you're trying to fight for time. Royal and Nitros, how many can you save? Royal left standing. 1v4. It won't happen, and that is a comeback. Golden Hurricanes from way down, able to stay alive and go up 2-1.
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable stuff from Tulsa. You literally fight through a hellstorm of streaks in round 4. You get to round 5, you still have offense to overcome, and they make it happen. It was what you said, Morgan. It was the life advantage that they play off of. They draw the clock out there in the end. Bulldogs just don't have enough to work with, and it ends up costing them in the end. Tulsa, incredible stuff. We talk about this being a swing map. To go down and have to win an offense in round 5, to do it like they just did. Incredible stuff, and it has to feel like there's just no win there for the Bulldogs now. As we head to our second hard point, it almost feels like Tulsa's won the series there.
I mean, wow, one of the best controls we've had all year. That's obviously, but TU had nothing on offense. Both times they played it, it was a stomping. They were managing to survive on defense, but I never thought they'd win this game. Not when it was that much of a difference. I gotta call back to both rounds actually, that TU managed to win, how big the streaks were. The first time, it was Sabian deciding to not use his at all when it came down to a 4 versus 2 situation. They end up barely losing on lives. And then whatever round 4 was, I don't think there was any one specific thing. It was just somehow TU found timings. They did not give up enough lives to those score streaks, and they managed to find a way. But a comeback of all comebacks, and now you're wondering what the thoughts of the Bulldogs are feeling like.
Yeah, and the other thing I think I'll highlight is in that round 5, you have to win an offense. Tulsa get A so early in that round.
Like,
they also...
boom.
Yeah, and they pile onto that by pushing into the spawns. That's where they started to find some of those kills to get the differential in their favor. That's really where the Bulldogs let things slip. It was right off the get-go when Tulsa grab A in their first attempt. Then they push into the spawn, find a bunch of kills to get the life advantage. It was really the Bulldogs trying to answer back for the rest of the round. Really great stuff from Tulsa, though. They hang on and get it done. Well, like you said, one of the best control maps that has to have been played in the CCL so far this year.
And I got to give credit where credit is due. The captain of Tulsa, Ray, he turned that game entirely with a massive flank. Rotated all the way back through the Bulldog spawn, came into the plane from the opposite direction, and turned it into a double kill when his teammates were getting stuck in spawns. That was when it seemed like the Bulldogs had closed it out. They were up, or they were closing in on those lives. Time was starting to run out. It seemed like maybe Tulsa would have their own moment on on attack or just slip away from them. But the captain comes up big. Everyone does what they need to do. And now is when momentum, we talked about it all throughout that map, how big momentum can be, how it can swing things. Momentum doesn't stop when a map ends. It carries through. The Tulsa guys are feeling it. Even if they are not usually winning gunfights, they're still going to take them and maybe win ones that they never have any business winning. On the Bulldog side, they are in their own heads. They are trying to figure out how to get back into this one. The original hard point went to TU. They are the ones that kind of are favored going into this one on Garrison to win it. What are the teams going to have to do to try and take this next map home?
Like you said, I mean, the momentum's so heavily in Tulsa's favor. To win the defense after all the streaks, you felt the momentum there that they were able to carry in to win the offense. So that's how it already starts to show the payoff. And now we turn to hardpoint again, where if you're the Bulldogs, you just lost map 1. That doesn't necessarily help you in any way, but it is Garrison. Has to be a map that these teams have a lot of experience on. If you're Tulsa, though, you're drawing on that momentum. You're really just putting the ball in the Bulldogs' court. You're flying at them this entire game. You really have to. I mean, and even in map 1, it didn't feel like teams were rotating that much. It wasn't. It was more so just a matter of slaying it out on the hill. So if that's the situation here again, it has to be Tulsa's advantage to lose. But Garrison, I mean, if you want to play those rotations, you can. It can be really, really important. 2 to 3, going to be a huge rotation to make. Really can string those couple hills together. We'll have to see which team has it here. If the Bulldogs, though, they're going to be ones trying to answer and force map 5. But boy, oh boy, are Tulsa coming off, riding high off a huge win.
I think Garrison is unique, and you can really set the pace of the entire game off of P2 right from the start. So, because Satellite is just such a strong defense, you can get that big lead, and then it puts the pressure onto your opponents to get that P2 to P3 rotation. So, even though those first 2 points are so close to one another, it almost doesn't feel like a rotation to get from one to the other. The positioning is going to be very important. And this is where I wonder, is the fact that they just fought on hill, it wasn't about the spawns, wasn't about the rotations, was that because TU hadn't played checkmate before, or was that just their style? We're gonna figure it out here as we load into map number 4. Everything on the line as TU tries to close it out here with the Garrison hardpoint.
And I'll tell you what else. Relk has been really, really strong throughout this entire series with the QBZ. The Garrison Hardpoint going to be a very strong QBZ map, so we'll have to pay attention to Relk. You mentioned the power positions. How is he managing those? He did a really good job of it in that last checkmate. Didn't work out in the end, but here on Garrison can be a huge position to be in. He's actually going to switch over to the sub, so really taking things into his own hand as the captain of this team. Going to be the first line every time into these hard points. It's pretty scrappy here to start. We'll have to see which team can rotate over to the money hill on P2. Sabian back into the hill to grab some more time here for the Bulldogs.
Bit of a risky thing to change up when it's all on the line to go over towards that SMG. It'll be very interesting on how he plays throughout this game. Right now, he's sitting at 0-1, able to get some help from Nitros and get onto that first point. But TU, they know what they need. You get 11 seconds, that's enough. Rotate over towards Satellite. The hold is going to be big for Ray and Static to see how they keep the Bulldogs from coming across. But so far, with Nira's double kill especially, this is a just textbook start out of Tulsa. See if they can turn it into a bigger lead.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention here to the Bulldogs and how they want to make this break happen. 2 huge kills to start it off. Is Route climbing in? That shouldn't happen to Ray. He's going to get another kill there. And the backside is perfect for the Bulldogs here to get on through. 20 seconds go to Tulsa, but they're going to cruise on in here. Should be able to get this last kill onto Static. That's the opening they're looking for. Now, do you know where the spawns are coming through? For Tulsa, it's actually going to be a brick spawn that maybe comes as a bit of an unexpected situation. Royal's on top of it, though. He finds the first. Static there for the trade. But this is going to be a good break for the Bulldogs. They're back on the hill. 20 seconds for them. And you can see the rotation number 3 on your minimap. Sabian's already there for the next one.
All right, you know what? The 74U looked good with Relic right there. That was some very big kills to open up this site. And it's the worst thing possible for TU in that they lost the site, started spawning over by P3, and then when they tried to retake it, they lost those spawns. So they're going to be coming in from the P2 side, behind because they didn't get the time on it, and trying to fight in towards P3. It is the worst situation you can have here on Garrison, and very big now to see how many kills they can get to fight back in. There come 3 in a row. Relic can be able to trade one back, but Ray's the first guy in on site as TU fights to keep this game close.
Really good teamwork on that break for Tulsa. Rather than hitting it from a bunch of different angles, which might work, they all push together through that ammo side. It's able to force the spawn out. Now you should have a good opportunity to get onto the hill. 30 seconds left here still to work for. But on the other end of things, the Bulldogs pushing through from the front side. It's not easy to do. Nira there finally. Last breath there, the final boss, I guess you might say, cleaning up 2 more kills. That should be good enough for this 20 seconds. If you're the Bulldogs, not so focused on trying to get another break. You're trying to just put some more focus here, choke them into this point, and get set up for the next one.
With how even they've played so far, I think P4 can really be the difference maker before these squads. Sometimes it is just a contest hill. No one gets any points on P4. Sometimes it turns into a money hill if you know how to do it just right. Static gets 2, finds the third one onto Sabian. What a good headshot. Was 1 bullet short on Royal, but Tadeo there to clean it up as in comes the push out of top green. Route the first one through, so the Bulldogs will get on site initially, but the double kill to trade it back for TU is good, and they'll be able to keep extending this lead as they come back into the game.
Static, that is a huge individual player to find 3 kills there. Kind of gets your team some more separation on the map where they can use more of that free space to get to this hard point. Big play from Static again to climb up into green. Get yourselves in the power positions. You flip the spawns the way you want to. Now you should know where the Bulldogs are coming from. Static continuing to have a great map. He's going to rotate over here to the Platt Street to try to find some more kills as his teammates lock things down on the point. He's going to have the rotations already ready for P5. This is a good string here for Tulsa here on P4.
But how has this game been going all day? At the start, map number 1, Bulldogs had a big lead. Tulsa came back. Map number 2, Tulsa had a big lead. The Bulldogs came back, and we all just saw what happened on map number 3. This feels like one of those days where it is just the guys playing from behind that managed to find a way through. So for TU, you cannot let up on the gas. You have to continue pressuring the Bulldogs, get them as far off of their spot as possible, and close it out from there. They're starting well right now with a very solid P5 and the angles to move on to P2 if they need it. But one slip up is enough to open this game back up, and my brain is just feeling like that slip up is on its way sometime soon.
Yeah, you have to think the Bulldogs will answer here eventually, and I was just about to say, I wonder if Relk will switch back to the QBZ with the slow start he's having. Exactly what he does, goes back to what's been working for him all series long. I really didn't feel like he should have taken that sub out at all to start. We'll see if that can change things for the Bulldogs, if they can make their way back into this one. But P5 turning into a money hill for Tulsa. It shouldn't be this easy. Finding a lot of time there. We get to the next set of rotations. They're going to have a 60-point lead to go into it. Static has just been so big in this series, not only with the kills, but the way he's been managing the map. Really, really huge. Sabian with 2 huge ones, but it's still going to be Tulsa on this point. Initial time for Ray. Fawn's favoring the Bulldogs as we get to this next set of rotations. We'll see if Rel can start to turn up, though, as he switches back to his pride and joy here in the QBZ.
58-point difference between the two squads as the Bulldogs are playing from behind. Relic, I didn't even notice till you said it. He was slow. He was 6-12 after an okay initial life on that 74U. Just nothing went for him again. The QBZ has been where he's making his money all day. He's been doing great on it, so why give it up? And now the pressure is on his shoulders to get his team back into it. Definitely their best hardpoint player overall on the squad. He has the best KD on the team, and he needs to start dragging his team back into it because this is not the way the Bulldogs have been playing all day.
Yeah, it's really can come down to who's winning the battle, the player holding the QBZ on each team, and right now it's Nira at 24-11, who's carrying his team right now to this lead, but this is going to be huge for the Bulldogs. You get the setup now on this money hill. You really need to see a solid 50 or 60 seconds to get yourself back in this one, but you're in a good spot to do it. Nira, though, huge kills on the back end, is red hot right now, opening things up for his team to push through this archway. Sabian's going to be in a big spot to find a couple kills. First is there on Ray. Tadio over the top ropes is going to get the trade onto him. Huge break from Tulsa. This lead should continue to go up as they get the break on P2.
Just wiping through them, and now the Bulldogs are in an awkward situation of there's too much time left to not fight for this point, but if you get too aggressive, you're going to lose your spawns to go in towards P3. It's the same situation TU found themselves in the last time. When you talk about these players, the story of map number 1 was Static, playing above and beyond his usual ability to carry through. Now it is Nira doing the types of things he's become expected for TU. 31-11 on the 7-kill streak, gonna have a streak in his back pocket as TU starts to make this break over towards P3. An 85-point difference and growing. If the comeback starts, it starts right now. But you and me, Camber, we know Garrison is never completely over. You can always start getting back into this map.
Yeah, we saw, what, like an 180-point comeback a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to count anybody out just yet. And for the Bulldogs, this is still an opportunity, a money hill, where you can really hold things together. You can string together a lot of hills on this map for sure, as we've seen in the past, but so far so good on this one. 20 seconds going to Navarro. They try to keep these spawns together. They have the close spawns. That's going to be huge. Tulsa, it's not over just yet. You might feel like you had a big lead, but the Bulldogs are answering right here. It's going to be important to see, though, how they string this into the next one, how they make their break, and if Tulsa can keep the pressure on as they try to force out to P4, because this P3 hill has been solid. They're getting about 60 seconds on it.
Yeah, the second hill is where teams can always get some good time on, and it's just a good place to build up a little bit of confidence. But if you want to completely flip the feeling of the map, it's the P3, P4, P5 transition. You work from all the way on the right side of the map, all the way towards the left, and if you hold all three, that's going to be a good, like, 70 points for yourself. That is going to completely shut down the opposite side. Bulldogs already managed to close down to within 40 points, so they are fighting for this game. So you have to start feeling this pressure. They know that a lot of these maps have been comebacks for whoever ends up winning it, and they need to try and close things out right now with a solid P4. It's not happening because Relic gets a big kill, but Tadeo trades it back, and for the moment, TU are going to be able to get a good few seconds for themselves.
And I was just starting to think that for the Bulldogs, this is good that they have top green control. You kind of have the height advantage to look down on these players in the point, but Tulsa are turning a bad situation into a good one right now. They're starting to generate some time here, ticking closer towards the win. As we get to the next hill, it's pretty scrappy. It's not really easy for the Bulldogs to find a whole lot of time. Relk, that's going to be huge with 2 big kills there. Really has turned it back up as he switched to this QBZ. I think that was the choice you probably wanted to go with at the start, but for Tulsa, starting to get closer and closer to the win. Go to the scrappy hill on P5. It's going to be the Bulldogs with the initial time, and if Relk can get some streaks, that could be huge as well. Nitro's trying to hold down Bricks. It's not going to happen, and 2 players push on through. Royal next one up in a big spot. He can't get the gun punch either, so that's what Tulsa was looking for. big opportunity here to put this one even closer to the finish line.
We put a lot of pressure onto Relic earlier on when he chose to go with the 74U out of the start. Now he needs to be the guy to lead his team back into it on a 5-kill streak. Streaks could be massive going into P2. It is wide open outside, and he hits 6. Now he's thinking about getting it, but goes back, rotates away from the TU spawns, and falls. With the time left, TU can't quite finish out this map right here on P5, but the Bulldogs are still well behind. They need a big play out of a couple members to find this one. Tulsa are feeling it for themselves. Nira, nearly 40 kills now for himself, as he has not slowed down since the very jump of this map. Steo gets in the firefight, right there to help him out. Royal sprays down both as TU hits 234 points. They are 16 seconds away, and the Bulldogs try and stage a massive comeback.
Yeah, and it's easy when you only have about 15 seconds left to win if you're Tulsa to just want to flood into the hill, but it really kind of plays into the hands of the Bulldogs. Never mind, Static with an incredible win in that gunfight, going to regain control of top green. Nira finds 2. Tulsa back on the point. They can close it out right here.
Right now, Nira going to try and hold him off, but I don't know if anyone from the Bulldogs is even close enough. Nitro's really the only one to try it in the 1v3. Now it's going to have Sabian there to help him out. Went 1-for-1 on this an early firefight. That's contested with 5 seconds left as TU continues to fight him off. Last chance for Royal, but he gets cleaned up, and TU able to win from corner to corner, start until end. 250 to 168. They take home the game 3-1.
And it really feels like map 3 was the decider in this series. So much momentum in favor of Tulsa. They carry it in here to the Garrison, and on the back of Nira, double positive with 40+ kills. It's not going to be too difficult. Just get on the time and soak it up, because this guy was ballistic. On the other side, I hate to, again, point out a poor performance, but Sabian in both hard points with double negative performances. It feels like also Relic, we talked about it. If he just starts the game with a QBZ, who knows how different that map could have been. Either way, got to give a lot of credit to Tulsa. They find momentum with a crazy comeback win in map 3, carry it in there to the second hard point, and they close things out pretty handily with a near 200-point victory over the Bulldogs. Great stuff.
This was a game of a lot of what ifs, and the Bulldogs are going to be kept up at night from those. What if they close out map number 1? What if they finish either of those attacking rounds in checkmate? Or what if they even win that final defense? It's just they had so many good opportunities to take a driver's seat in this game, to take control and force TU to be playing from behind in the map count. Instead, every time they managed to get a good map lead, it found a way to slip out of their fingers, and it's going to hurt because with that now they are dangerously close to slipping away from that qualifier first round bye, and TU takes a big step back into trying to get that spot.
Yeah, and it's like I mentioned before the series started, we really can start to taste how much competition now is starting to play into these series. Playoffs are a week away. Like, these guys are really putting it all on the line. I think we got to see that there. An incredible checkmate control. One of the best controls I've seen so far in the CCL.
Oh, yeah.
But for Tulsa, like, you were the underdog in this. It has to feel really, really good. You had 3 straight losses coming into this one to kind of reroute that and get back in the win column. Has to feel great right before the playoffs. Really great performances, but you're absolutely right, Morgan. I mean, I think when you go back and watch the VOD, it's going to come down to those itty-bitty moments for the Bulldogs where they're just they're hitting themselves like, man, if we just did this little thing differently, the whole series could have changed. But that's Call of Duty for you. It's day to day. Every single moment is so, so important. And for Tulsa, they managed them just that little bit better. A really good performance out of them. Didn't have to go to that final search and destroy. And I think they're going to have to feel pretty good going into the playoffs.
Tell me, Cam, you going to go back and watch that map 3 again?
I think I might have to, and I mean, maybe I'll watch it on an iPad like everybody for the Bulldogs in that one round. That was insane stuff. Like, dude's opening laptops just over and over and over again. It's almost like I'm having a traumatic experience with homework or something. I'm stop.
It's like crazy stuff. It's what the boomers think of our generation. They're just always on their iPads and laptops. Those Bulldogs, they could have just gotten off of their phones. They would have won that round. You know it, but...
Bunch of elementary school kids.
With that, though, that is going to wrap up the second game of the evening. Alpha full of hitters so far today, as both have been incredible matchups. And we got one more coming up right after. This is going to be for me. Cambert, are you coming back for map number 3? Or?
I'm going to hang around and join the great Alan I hold shift. So.
Yeah, freshly beardless as he decided to make that big move. I don't think I have the self-confidence to take all of this off the chin, so respect him for that. Shout out there. But that is going to bring my night to an end, and we are going to be moving things over towards game number 3. But everyone stick around. There is still more action here for College COD. We will be right back.